Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
There you go. We are back. We're live. It's another brand new edition of Talkin Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. We're coming to you live this morning once again from the Bill Penney Toyota Service Department. Sitting out here along University Drive. Their doors are rolling open even as we speak. Cars are rolling in to get serviced here on a Friday morning. Don't forget, right now, you can buy 3 tires. You get that 4th one for $1. And when the heat's on, batteries can fail as well. Protect your plans with free battery health check. Pull on in here to Bill Penney Toyota. That deal ends on June. Well, we're past June, so that deal is done.
I was going to say, Scott, that'd be over a year from now.
No, that deal is done, but yeah. I'm sure if you ask them, they can check your battery to see if it needs replacing. Nothing worse than being stranded along the side of the road with a dead battery in the middle of the summer heat. Speaking of summer heat, Talent Heating and Air can make sure you stay cold as well. You can find them online at talenthvac.com. Give the boys a call. They're live. They're local as well, 256-503-4490. It's Talent Heating and Air. We're going to jump right into it because we got a lot of stuff to get through on a Friday. But one of the biggest things, and you cruise around social media and you hear them talking about it, it's the amount of golf that Hugh Freeze has played in the month of June. And a lot of Auburn fans are throwing their hands up in the air saying, oh my gosh, why are we not recruiting? You look at the recruiting rankings and Auburn is down there. And there's just a lot of stuff going on. Hugh Freeze will be asked to talk about that next week at SEC Media Days, but he didn't wait. He's not waiting. He actually hopped on the David Pollack podcast, See Ball, Get Ball podcast, and was asked about all the rounds of golf he's played, asked all about the recruiting rankings and why Auburn is where they're at. Take a listen to Hugh Freeze defend all the golf that he has played in the last month.
Yeah, I really have never been a big planner for that. I just kind of like to be transparent and truthful. And I know that, people, this is that time where people are looking for things to write about. And I do love golf. I enjoy playing. It gets away. But what people don't realize is it's probably, I assure you, I never missed a camp day or a recruiting day but if camp got over at 3:00 one day and Jill and I go out at 4:30, we absolutely might do that. And I'm not apologizing for that part of it, but my focus is 100% on getting Auburn in that win column this fall. And I think the biggest thing that's causing most of it is the recruiting rankings right now, because we've been top 10, my 2 years here in recruiting, and currently we're not. And good Lord, we could spend 30 minutes on why I think that is, but there's a lot of people right now that are operating under a different set of rules on what their interpretation is of this settlement and how you should operate. And I'm going to operate in the manner that our administration has interpreted it. And we'll see. I think it's a long game play for us that I think is going to work out in our favor. Because we're doing it very transparent and the way we believe the settlement is written to operate, if that makes any sense. And the other thing that nobody talks about, I don't listen to much. I'm not on social media anymore. My daughter does it. But Freeze is not getting this receiver in state, and he's not getting, do y'all realize on paper, I'm not losing a single receiver. And so how do you do that? This is not like, David, in the old days where you just sign 25 guys and then you figure out, who the 85 are. This is actually a salary cap world. And I like our receiver room. And how do I go and make offers to other receivers at numbers that these other schools are when I'm like, come January, I kind of want to keep the one I have.
There you go. Hugh Freeze doubling down on other schools doing it the right way, wrong way, and defending the time he plays out on the golf course.
That's what that spells. That's what he's got to do. WIN. That's basically what it all comes down to. Not any fluff, no conspiracy theories, all this kind of stuff. August 1st, all this. He's got to win games, and if he wins 6 or less, he might get to play a lot more golf. It's just all there is to it. So he's got to win. He ideally needs to split with Georgia and Alabama. And again, I think if he did that, that's a worst case 8-4 situation. But even if he goes 7-5 and loses to Georgia and Alabama, depending on how it looks, and if they win a bowl game, I think he's still going to keep his job. But if his seat would be scorching, heading into year 4, because again, you have to beat Alabama first and foremost, because that's what it's about for Auburn. It's always been that way. It's why Gus Malzahn kept his job as long as he did. It's why Tommy Tuberville kept his job as long as he did. You've got to have some success against Alabama. Georgia, they've lost 11 out of 12. So,
right.
But if he beat Georgia, it certainly would, and Gus Malzahn did, a few times. So you just have to balance it. And, but again, the main thing is he needs to win. He needs to stop choking games away in the second half and not putting them away. And the Baylor game is very important. And if Auburn wins 8 games next year, I think their recruiting is going to look a lot different, because again, recruiting doesn't wrap up until really December now. So I just think it's in cases, it's an overreaction. It's just, people, because of the 2 top 10 classes that he signed, people expect it to be a certain place right now. But again, like I've said, look at Billy Napier in Florida. This is almost a carbon copy from a year ago. And now, and Billy went 7-5, has figured out his quarterback situation with Lagway, and now is in a much better spot. Right. So Hugh Freeze, same deal. And that's what he's got to do.
Well, that's how we get you going right out of the gates this morning. Hugh Freeze defending, I guess, all of the golf that he's playing. What was it, 11 rounds? I think it was 11 rounds in the first cup. Somebody actually kept track of how much golf Hugh Freeze was actually playing.
I'll ask you a question. Did anybody keep up with how much Steve Spurrier played?
It was a lot, was it not, when he played it?
He certainly didn't burn the candle at both ends. And he beat the hell out of most everybody.
By the way, we will hear from Hugh Freeze on Tuesday in Atlanta, SEC Media Days. You'll be able to hear Hugh Freeze live over the airwaves of 97.7 ESPN The Zone at 11:15.
You know what that means?
Tuesday morning.
That means by late that afternoon he'll be playing golf, because it's a dead period.
He can take the short drive from Auburn to Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly.
Be back at the club by mid-afternoon. Get around in before dark.
Yep, no problem.
Oh my goodness!
And then they'll get ripped for not watching Baylor film or whatever. But like I said, it's just, you got to win football games, man. And he made a good point about the this cap era. In a lot of cases, you're trying to keep your own roster,
right?
And if you got it, he does have a young football team in a lot of spots, and he may not have a lot of slots open at wide receiver. And if you do, you might decide to go the transfer portal route. Keandre Lambert-Smith was a great player. Eric Singleton sounds like he's going to be a great player. So we'll see the way Hugh Freeze decides to attack this. But I've took the stance the entire time. I'm going to wait and see where the recruiting ends, not where it's begun. And, while I do think Alabama's doing a hell of a job, and I think they're going to get another piece later today in Kevin Ford, and I think they're going to have a top 3 or 4 class. It's not going to surprise me if Auburn's at worst in the top 15 before it's all said and done. So I just think if they win games, they'll be fine. Now, if not, then there's a coaching change, then it's very likely that Auburn recruiting won't be where they want it to be.
Right.
But that's what happens in this portal era if you make a coaching change. So, and I think it would set Auburn's program back. They need Hugh Freeze to win. They don't need to be in the market for a new head football coach in this offseason. So they just need Auburn to take some steps forward.
Well, and you bring up KJ Ford.
Yep.
One of the
Texas.
top S rushers. Now he will make his announcement at 4:30. Well, actually 7:30, right? Is it 7:30?
I haven't looked up the time.
I think it's 7:30. It says 5:30 Pacific time, 8:30 Eastern time. So I'd
7:30
imagine
Central.
7:30 Central. Alabama right now appears to be the leader in the clubhouse. Florida, Ohio State, Texas A&M, all there as well. But Alabama, you think in the driver's seat there?
Well, we kind of broke after the show yesterday, and Alabama a couple months ago was heavily in the mix for him, thought to be the favorite, and then the board kind of started evolving, and it looked like that their edge guy might be Anthony Tank Jones, who I still think they can sign Tank Jones, but I think he's going to be a defensive lineman, and Alabama's in the mix for a lot of defensive linemen, including Elijah Golden of Sarasota, Florida, Cardinal Mooney High School, but I think he's going to end up at Notre Dame, and that's what I'm talking about the board evolving. And I think once Alabama has figured out, okay, we're not going to get this kid, there's always a pecking order and I think this young man thought he was going to go to Ohio State. They couldn't quite work out the deal that they wanted. He'd always liked Alabama, so I think instead of going to Texas A&M, and why would you want to go somewhere where they hadn't won a championship since Bars was on the helmets?
Right.
I mean, even though they do have a lot of money, but and then Florida definitely wanted him. But I'll just be honest with you. Ohio State's the defending national champion, so you see where that comes from and all the professionals they've turned out. But if you're trying to choose among Alabama, Florida, and Texas A&M, and you call Alabama back and they say they have a spot now, where are you going? That's where you going. So,
right.
And when one of your best friends you played with last year is also the quarterback of the future at Alabama, Keelan Russell. So there you go. I just think that they and Alabama wants a wolf edge rusher in the class. I think they feel like they have enough room for one, and this is going to be the guy. And and I think he will be a true wolf. And so I think he's going to choose Alabama at 7:30 tonight, and he will be the 20th commitment for Alabama. They're in the top 5 now in both of the major services because basically we've gone from 3, in my opinion, to 2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ESPN's dabbling in it, but what I mean by that is Rivals and On 3 is now Rivals, and then 24/7. So Alabama's in top 5 in both of the major polls, and I think it's only going to strengthen their situation. And as I've said, the magic number is 22 or 23 for me, with what depending on what happens with Tank Jones, and I think Alabama's still in a strong spot to get Taden Cowah from Orem, Utah. This is the second quarterback in the class before the end of this month. Would not surprise me at all. And then and an offensive tackle.
Right.
Now it'll be interesting because I've talked about Wilson Zaire. We would probably even talk to Jason Caldwell about him, but he's a guy that has got it down to Alabama, Auburn, and Florida State. He's got ties to Gus Malzahn, who recruited his brother to Auburn. His brother played at Auburn, and his former high school teammate Bill Pridgett played at Alabama. So where is he going to go? But I do think if Alabama misses on him, they do have a pecking order at offensive tackle, and I think they'll get an offensive tackle. But I think it's much like what Hugh Freeze said at the start of the show. From a standpoint of what Alabama's doing now is I think they're just trying to fill out their class, and it's a by position situation. It's okay. We need one more defensive lineman. We need one more edge. We need another quarterback because of where our depth chart could be a year from now.
Right.
And then they need an offensive tackle because it's one of the most important positions in all of football on every level.
All right. That's how we get you going. That's 15 minutes of work right there. Phew. Flew by.
I'm glad that's what's called work.
Oh, it is. Everybody's got to do something. We got to get a break in. That's what we got to do now. We're live from Bill Penney Toyota on a Friday morning. It's Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a bag compressor, leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal. And we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
The Atlanta Braves.
Swung on and crushed deep left field. Kepler going back. Here comes some late night dynamite here at Truist Park. A walk-off home run by Marcell Ozuna.
All season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
To the town of Alfrio rode a stranger one fine day. Hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say.
I like it.
No one dared to ask his business.
There we go. That's a way to welcome us back. 7:19 on a Friday morning. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We are counting down till we leave for the ATL for SEC Media Days.
Yeah, the official start to the new radio, new year. That's the way I always look at it anyways.
Yeah, you always knew.
Recrank everything.
You always knew when SEC media days were coming around. Now, I will say this. When I first started, between now and when I first started, they have been moved to about 1, 2, 3, 4, about between 3 and 3.5 weeks earlier from when I first started. Because we got married on August 4th. And the year that we got married, SEC Media Days, that was the week of SEC Media Days. And SEC Media Days wrapped up on Thursday, like they still do. And the SWAC Media Days were always on Friday. SEC Media Days were in Birmingham. SWAC Media Days were in Birmingham. So you still made that drive back down there or stay down there for one more day. Our SEC Media Days, my obligations ended on Thursday, and my rehearsal dinner was on Friday. So I had family coming into town during SEC Media Days. That's how I can remember when it was in August back several years ago. So it's changed. A lot has changed since then. The SEC used to take us out and play golf. We used to have a scramble golf tournament, and you raced to get to Hoover to get your team together so you could figure out the 4 players and media united to play golf down there. And you had great prizes. I got a little mini TV one year, some headphones. I mean, it was fantastic gifts that were the SEC spared no expense.
They do now.
When that, I mean,
at least with free stuff.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Used to get all kinds of good stuff. Anyway, we
don't even get media guides anymore. Like paper ones. I used to get asked every year, can you get me a media guide?
Yeah. You used to have a box.
Me a media guide. Yeah.
Used to be a cardboard box. You would walk into a room and there would be the intern's job part. I mean, the SEC had 100 interns, but their job would be just to hand you a box. And at the time, there were just 14 schools. All 14 schools would have their media guides in a box, and you would just grab a box and take them back. And everybody would always ask for extra ones of certain ones. And I mean, Tennessee, Florida. I remember bringing back several Floridas, Tennessees, Ole Misses,
I was
Mississippi
always asked
States.
for Bama's because it costs $25 on the newsstand. Always wanting a freebie.
Well, now it's free for everybody because you can get online and you can download it and you can have it, and they're all free now.
Yeah, pretty
Nobody
much.
really has to print them. There are a few schools that will still bring them.
Yeah.
And they're there and you can have them and you can get them, but they don't hand them out like they used to. They hand you a zip drive now.
Zip drive that I never used. But I appreciate it.
I've got them somewhere at home. They're sitting somewhere.
They're in some, I don't know, in a backpack or something.
Oh, my goodness. And now they charge you $65 a day to park.
Well, that's in Atlanta, Democrats.
We'll have to see if we can circumvent that.
Yeah.
Anyway, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines. You can join us here on a Friday morning. By the way, we are 43 days, 4 hours, 36 minutes, and 5 seconds away from the start of that college football season. Bama Bino with us on the phone lines. Good morning, Bama Bino.
Good morning, guys. How y'all making it?
Oh, we're doing just peachy.
We're doing pretty good, Bama Bino. How are you, man? I hope you had a great 4th.
That's good for us. I'm ready for fall, though, because this reminds me of when I worked in Louisiana, the humidity.
Yes, sir.
But I hadn't rested you guys up in a while, and I just thought I'd call and pull your leg a little. I am looking forward to fall for more than one reason. It's my favorite time of year. Plus, you got football hunting, cooler weather, and it's just more comfortable, and it's just more excitement in the air. But I'm going to tell you, if we don't, I'm hoping Trump and Tuberville and Saban can put some guardrails on this thing, because there's going to be a lot of disinterest and apathy if this keeps going to nonchalant play and no discipline and just transfer this and Lane Kiffin was right about one thing: it's free agency. Yeah, if you can't tie them to a contract and treat them as employees, then what are they? I mean, either you're going to treat them as a student or you're going to treat them as an employee. One of the two. You have supposed to have a little bit of say so and be able to motivate them some way. And if they can just fly by night and nonchalantly go to a different school and take the money and run, like a certain player back a few years that we used to call take the money and run, then I mean there just isn't the camaraderie, and if it don't mean it can't be back there, but I think we've opened Pandora's box, and I don't know. I've talked to a lot of people that's noticed just in the last 3 years it's changed, and I just want to see the camaraderie and the spirit come back, and a little bit of being able to know who your roster is going to be, and being able to put the pieces on the puzzle. You've got to have the pieces there before you can put it together to see what kind of picture you're going to have. And that's just my thought on it. And like I said, I don't want to be negative. I'm saying I think we can, if we will grab a hold of the reins, we can steer the horse in the right direction if we can get some cooperation. But this 18-year-old senior millionaires, it's not supposed to be used for recruiting, number one, either. It's supposed to be used as name, image, or likeness, and they don't have a name, image, or likeness until they play the first snap. They're a high school athlete until they play the first game.
Yep, they are. And to your point, Bambino, and this is all kind of coming out yesterday. This all kind of unfolded mid-afternoon yesterday, and there's so much to unpack there, and it's wordy, and to make it, to boil it all down in just a few words, this whole clearinghouse that was put into effect to monitor NIL deals basically took aim at collectives yesterday. And in a long story short, if you're trying to read it in this College Sports Commission, they are denying a lot of these NIL deals that are going through because they are not what they are supposed to be. A lot of people are confused right now. These collectives are really getting hit hard to the point where some of them are probably just going to have to cease to exist because of the manner that they operate. And there's a war going on right now with this college commission and what happened yesterday in collectives and NILs and everything else.
Well, you just need, it's all about having alignment within your university, president, athletic director, head coach. And of course, now you have to have a general manager, someone, and you all need to be working in concert with how you build your roster and within the constraints of the cap. And I think that's what has always needed to happen. I mean, everybody goes through transitions. They did it in the NFL for years when things were kind of flawed because rookies would make more than the veteran guys that basically had helped teams establish themselves and win championships and have long careers. And they realized that it had to change. And so we're in the middle of that with college football. And those that have been patient and have had a plan and have had stable leadership, I think will come out and do the best job. Those that cut corners all the time and that, and just because they think they have the most money, think they're going to win, that doesn't always work because, again, this is not long term. This is not going to be Major League Baseball, and so you're not going to have Major League Baseball is about the only sport right now where you operate without a salary cap, where it's just, okay, what do you decide that you're going to spend as far as money goes? Why Major League Baseball has never come up with one, I'll never know. But of course, we've also
the feeling there is for the next collective bargaining agreement, they're going to try to push one through. But
eventually, I would think you would have to, because you want more competitive balance in the deal. And but again, baseball is also a different game too. The most talented team doesn't necessarily always win. It's a very unique game the way it's played. So we'll see. But certainly, I think Alabama's had a sound plan. Auburn sounds like they're trying to operate within those kind of constraints. We will see. We just heard from Hugh Freeze about that. But I think if you have a sound plan, first and foremost is the most important thing. And then I'll say this: the reason collective bargaining needs to happen is because you want even the group of five to be able to survive too, because you don't want some of these athletic departments. Otherwise, they're going to have to drop sports, and it's going to eliminate opportunities for young people to play something besides football and basketball, because those are the big two, really.
Just real quick, what I'm getting at, though, Drew and Scott, is I don't have all the answers, but my goal is to have it to where the coaches have a little bit of to where they can control, developing players. If you can't develop players, the sport changes, because the fundamentals are not going to be there. They're going to do this quick in and out passing, dinking and dunking. I want football back. I want them to be able to build a roster and build a program. That's how Saban made it all these years. That's why he got out of it, because you can't build a program if you don't know what puzzle pieces are going to be there. If they say I'm going to sign, they should either have to stay there or not be eligible to play.
Yep.
It's transfer bull crap.
There's some okay. The Bama Bino, thanks for the phone call, by the way, as well.
Have a great weekend. But if you have collective bargaining, that's going to lead to less roster movement. They're going to be only one portal window. They're going to try to pass legislation where it's going to be tougher to move.
And so, to that point, there's a thing called the SCORE Act that was put yesterday in front of the House. We'll explain what the SCORE Act is and what's this whole thing about the hammer coming down on collectives. It's dizzying, and we'll try to explain it all next.
People just...
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. Once again, we're going to continue to talk about scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some of those thunderstorms could be on the stronger end of the spectrum. A mostly to partly sunny sky on Saturday, mid and upper 80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast once again. Basically a rinse and repeat for Sunday.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Mike Owen at Owen Home Appliance Center. You know it's hot outside, so cool down with an upright or chest freezer in stock at Owen Home Appliance Center. And don't let those beverages get hot. Get an under-counter ice machine with a built-in pump for just $12.99. Or how about a fridge out by the pool or in the garage for extra cold drinks? You can get a scratch and dent 18 cubic foot refrigerator for just $3.49 while supplies last. Go to OwenAppliance.com to learn more. That's OwenAppliance.com. You've seen those beautiful epoxy floors in a garage or carport area and have probably wondered, how can I get that done? Well, the answer is Lifetime Epoxy Floors. Lifetime Epoxy Floors is an A-plus rated business with the Better Business Bureau and has been family-owned for over 14 years. They do both residential and commercial applications and get most jobs done in a day. Lifetime Epoxy Floors' motto is, We love what we do, and it shows. Visit LifetimeEpoxyFloors.com to schedule a free estimate today and check them out on Facebook.
Rocket City? For air that's cool and clean, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get HVAC smart with Professor Green and the expert team at SensaGreen.com. Now offering up to $1,500 off any new Bryant system. Whatever it takes, Sensa Green has Huntsville covered. Remember, folks, with innovative, sensible green solutions, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
This is Steve Moulton for Tellini's Italiano. Tellini's Italiano is located right in front of the Walmart, right off of University, behind the McDonald's. More or less catty corner from Topgolf. It's one of my favorite places to go to, and if you go there, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you need to try the baked spaghetti, add a meatball. Also try the baked ziti with meat sauce, add sausage. You'll thank me. Save room for some pizzas and paninis as well. And don't forget about dessert as well. The best cheesecake I have had here in North Alabama is at Tellini's Italiano. Find out for yourself today. That's Tellini's Italiano, right off of University Drive in front of the Walmart. Located online at Tellinis.com. That's TELLINIS.com. Let's get some Tellini's tonight.
When the biggest names in aerospace, financial services, and electronics needed office and manufacturing space in Huntsville, they called Samples Properties, and they've been doing it for over 40 years. When Huntsville first began to grow, so did Samples Properties. You can trust your business to Samples Properties and their deep knowledge of the commercial real estate market in Huntsville and Madison. When you're in the market for commercial real estate and you need a partner who knows how to make your plans come together, Samples Properties can guide you through all the legal, financial, and regulatory hurdles. And if you just need office space to start or grow your business, Samples Properties is the call you need to make. Go to samplesproperties.com to see the impressive list of clients that have profited from the knowledge and integrity of Samples Properties. For commercial real estate development and consultation, trust your business to Samples Properties, with offices on Madison Street in downtown Huntsville. Samplesproperties.com.
The Tom Abraham Show. Weekdays beginning at noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
All right, welcome back. Talkin Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, 737 here on a Friday morning. Talkin Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond, we are here. And Bama Bino, it was a great phone call there, and it did lead into a lot of different topics. And a lot of these topics really started coming out yesterday afternoon. And Ross Dellinger is on top of a lot of things, and he's on top of a lot of things there with the future of college football and everything else like that. Pete Nakos, though, also on 3 yesterday, reporting that members of the U.S. House, they're planning to introduce an amended college sports bill called the SCORE Act as early as Thursday. Now, Ross Dellinger was the first one to report this, and it could easily pass the House, but would need 7 Democratic votes in the Senate. It would introduce tomorrow. Now, what it would do is it would establish a one-time transfer rule. This would roll back the power athletes currently have to transfer multiple times. So it would do away with the multiple transfers of college A athletes right now, and it would just limit it to one transfer. They're trying to get it passed in the House so that it would go through. And that would be much to your point of not able to put the genie back in the bottle, but trying to put limitations on certain things.
Well, and that's what needs to happen. There needs to be limitation on player movement. You shouldn't be going to 4 schools in 5 years because all you're doing is cutting and running, and you're not trying to compete. And you're also trying to just go to the highest bidder. And how'd that work out for Isaiah Bond?
Well, it worked out well on the college level because he got money, but actually, not going.
His career right now is in shambles.
He's still a free agent. He's still unsigned on the NFL level.
Because one, he went to Texas and he didn't produce.
True.
You can't make the club in the tub. Got hurt all the time. And then he started hanging out with the wrong folks. And then he got in legal trouble. And that's why he has no place to land right now. And he also had another year of eligibility that he didn't use because he listened to the wrong people because he's surrounded by morons. Okay?
Got it.
And he himself is not a genius. So is all I'll say.
No. But he is one of many guys that have taken and have gotten, you think, bad advice and listened to the money.
And JT Daniels. I mean, I can go down the list. Most of the time, if you move around a lot, it's not good. Okay. You don't need to be moving to 3, 4, or 5 schools because that means something is wrong.
Oh boy, the quarterback from Clemson that went from Clemson to Oregon State to Florida State.
Uiagalelei.
Yes, that's one that comes to mind right away.
Flop. So he was supposed to be better than Bryce Young. Don't think that worked out. At least a better professional prospect because he was 6'5". He could run like a deer and he could throw it a long way. But I've said it a million times about quarterbacking. Size and arm strength are great, but if you can't operate from the neck up and it's DJ Uiagalelei.
Did you just roll that one out?
Yep. Used it for a while. Once I figured out what kind of player he was at Clemson, which was not, it was all hype. And
he had a brief moment. He had a brief moment at Clemson.
He's not very good. So that's why he flopped at Florida State. Because, again, and Florida State and Mike Norvell, they did it heavy with the transfer portal. It worked for a while, but if you have a situation where you get some pieces in there that don't fit and that don't work out, it can blow up in your face quickly.
Right.
So it's going back to what Bama Bino said about being able to develop players. And Uiagalelei, he did have some success initially at Clemson, but people figured him out. The more tape you watched, the worse he got. And then that's why Clemson moved on to Cade Klubnik, who seems to be coming into his own. Some believe he's the best, quarterback in college football. But and some believe Clemson's going to win the national championship and win Dabo Swinney's 3rd title. And maybe they will. I don't think the conference they play in is going to help them a lot, only from the standpoint of their schedule strength, but it could get them to the playoff, and it has in the past. And if you have a great football team, and the only problem now is instead of playing one opponent or 2, you're going to have to go through very likely a situation where you got to win 3 or 4 games.
What is the definite? I have something in my head right now, and you said developing players. College football was all about developing players in the past. And you look at Nick Saban pre-Alabama. Alabama really didn't develop a lot of guys to get them into the NFL. The NFL picks were not there. The draft picks were not there. Nick Saban comes in. Eventually the ball gets rolling. Alabama produces 1st round, 2nd round, 3rd round draft picks. They're developing guys. How do we look at college football now in the scheme of developing players in this era of transfer portal guys where you can move around so much, and some guys are there for 3 years and then they leave for 1 year and then they're there for 2 and they're for another 2? How is college developing guys now for the NFL? How are these teams developing guys for the future?
Well, I mean, it's an accelerated process. You don't have the red shirt situation doesn't happen nearly as much.
Right.
You've got to get guys on the field. And that was kind of the deal with at the end of Saban's career. You got to play more guys. You got to get them involved. Even
because otherwise they will leave.
Yeah. Even if their role is not one as a starter and is not, a situation where, they're getting a ton of snaps. You got to make them believe that they're being developed and that they're on a track to get on the field, and be a by the time they're a sophomore or a junior, be a starter or at least playing a big enough role to further their careers, And then you have to make them understand too. Everybody thinks they're going to the NFL when they go to a group of 4 program or whatnot, but you also have to be a realist in the way you communicate with your players, because not everybody is going to be, not everybody is going to be all conference. Not everybody is going to be, an NFL player. But, you have to also I know I agree with Steve Moulton. Steve was saying this week, you really can't call them student athletes anymore. It's more just an athlete because they're getting paid like professionals. But you also still have to make them understand, too, that you got to have something to fall back on once football's over. Because even if you play in the NFL, most guys' NFL careers are 3, 4 to 5 years. They're not the anomaly is still playing a decade, because I was telling somebody yesterday that Minkah Fitzpatrick is going into his 8th year. And that just shows you how quickly careers go by. Right. And now he's considered on the back end of his career because it's so crazy. It's so hard to play that long.
But and I get it. I get it. We can't call them theoretically. We can't call them student athletes because they are getting paid. But at the end of the day, they still, and I know there's going to class now versus going to class 10 years ago is completely different, because now you don't even ever have to step into a classroom because there's so many online options that you don't even ever have to technically step into a classroom when you go to school. But these athletes can make $500,000 a year, $1 million a year. But at the end of the day, really, if they don't get at least a D, they're not playing. Still, I mean, that is still there. I mean, they still have to go to class. They still have to get a passing grade of some sort, whatever class they take, in order to still play.
Well, and
I mean, that is they still have to do that, regardless of whether they're making $1 million or 500. They still have to at least get a passing grade.
And now, in some cases, you could even say the pressure is amped up because you're being paid, so you have to perform. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to handle yourself off the field. Look at the D'Angelo Barber situation at Auburn.
Yes.
Because very promising redshirt freshman, a guy that won a state championship on a great football team at Clay Chalkville. I know Auburn had expectations for him, but his choices and decisions, just like with Isaiah Bond, affected him. I mean, Isaiah Bond's a good player. But if he had produced on the field with 1,000-yard receiving season, as people thought he might at Texas, and if he had stayed out of legal trouble, he would have likely been a top 2 round pick. But he got off to a good start. Then he got injured, and then he got into some legal trouble. And that all led to him going undrafted. That's still a situation where it was a combination of things. And so he should have stayed at Alabama. It was not a smart move. He had come into his own at Alabama. I think he felt like maybe they could get him the football a little more than Milroe did. But again, I think that's sometimes you're not taking into account the off the field stuff too, the opportunities he would have had at the University of Alabama. And they still would have, and you had a head coach coming in who wanted to throw the football. I just don't think it was a wise move. Sometimes when you're jumping around, it's not the smart thing to do. And there was a few of those guys that left Alabama where it didn't work out.
Right.
It did for Caleb Downs. It did for Seth McLaughlin until he got injured at the end of the year. But, that sometimes the grass ain't always greener on the other side.
All right, 7:48 here on a Friday morning. We got to get a break in. When we come back, we'll put the stamp on hour number 1. It's Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The Braves roll into the 2025 season with a singular focus. Bring home the division title and remind the league what Atlanta is all about.
Swung on, driven to left center field and deep. That baby's out of here. Austin Riley. 3-0 to Olsen, and he powers one deep right center field to the wall. It's gonna fly. It's a home run. Back-to-back homers.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'm Jeff Jr., founder and CEO of Trajan Wealth. I was born and raised in northern Wisconsin by both my father, who owned a small 10-lane bowling alley, and my mother, who was a nurse, who did her best caring for everyone in our small town. My parents stressed with me that if you were going to do anything, it needed to be done right or not done at all. I later joined the Marine Corps, where additional values were instilled. Values like honor, courage, and commitment. The motto of the Marine Corps, Semper Fi, which means always faithful. The best part of Trajan Wealth, our 100-plus employees who also embrace the exact same values. If your current financial advisor is more interested in selling you something or is more loyal to their own financial gain than yours, give us a call for a second opinion. We would be honored to hear from you. Call Trajan today, 256-208-9000. That's 256-208-9000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Carrabba's Italian Grill is the best place to enjoy authentic Italian cuisine, passed down from our founders' family recipes. Featuring a wood-burning grill, you can enjoy Carrabba's signature dishes, including chicken brine, wood-fire grilled steak and chops, and classic Italian pasta dishes. Have a special event? Elevate your catering with Carrabba's Catering, the perfect way to enjoy large party portions of your favorite hand-prepared dishes for any event. Carrabba's Italian Grill at Parkway Place, Huntsville.
Flying nonstop from Huntsville is a breeze on Breeze Airways. They're nice people flying nice people to nice places on really nice planes. Let's be direct. Nonstop from Huntsville to the places you want to go. Las Vegas, Orlando, or Tampa starting at $49. It's time for a weekend getaway or a long overdue week away. Time to check in using the convenient Breeze app and check out. What are you waiting for? Book today at flybreeze.com. That's flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
That's the price you pay. Leave behind your heart and cast away. Just another product of today.
9:53. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond, welcome back in. I tell you what, the Collectives Association, they fired back at the new NIL guidance released yesterday. I mean, this is just getting good. I mean, it's getting good. Richard is with us on the phone lines. Good morning, Richard.
Morning, Richard.
Morning. You guys were talking, Drew was talking about, these guys transferring. You kind of wonder about their credit.
Yeah, that too. I was talking about academics. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. And I said it too. I mean, I know we sit there and say these guys aren't student athletes, but at the end of the day, they can get paid as much as they want in college. But if they don't at least get a 2.0 GPA, it doesn't matter. They're still not playing. They will not see the field or the court or whatever if they don't at least get the GPA.
Well, the thing is, though, even if you get hours, though, it may not go toward a degree.
Right.
So, I mean, one thing is, if you get a degree, it's a lot easier to get a job somewhere out. But, but like I said, you transfer between schools and they may have different majors. They may not even have the major you had, say, at Alabama. And if you're taking all freshman level courses at 4 schools, you've accomplished nothing. I mean, and then if you're getting paid, you're only getting half of it because Uncle Sam's getting the other half.
No, you're right. I mean, and you look at how many times some of these guys have said it, and we've said it in the past. If they transfer a bunch of times, they should have 6 degrees by now because of all the credits that they have, but lots of times the credits don't transfer. And so when you take all these classes,
you got to have certain hours and certain, things to go for a degree. So you could have, I think Alabama was like 128 hours needed, but you needed so many in a major though to get a degree. So, you may have accomplished, nothing by transferring 4 times out. I mean, it's one thing, at least if you transfer, say, I think there's a tight end, didn't it transfer from Troy to Alabama? Those will, in-state schools usually transfer.
Oh, yeah.
So something like that makes sense. But if you're going from Alabama to Stanford, I mean, good luck.
No question. I mean, I know that's happened before. Like, there has been situations where a guy thought he was going to transfer to a certain school, and I think in basketball that happened with Caleb Love trying to go to Michigan, and he ended up at Arizona because of his credits.
Well, because actually they did Love and somebody else. They wouldn't let they had somebody else they wouldn't let in at Michigan. So I guess Michigan is holding them to it, or either kind of somewhat cracking down. But like I said, most of these people take them, but I mean, you're just kind of accomplishing nothing out for, like you said, not everybody makes the NFL, and most people don't realize, what's the average, lifespan of a NFL guy, like 2 years or 3.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. It's anywhere from 3 to 5 years, and the 10-year careers are just very, very difficult.
Right.
Because you got to have the health, you got to have the ability, and then you got to take care of your as far as taking care of your body is paramount, because that leads to, again, the health part of it. You got to be with a good organization that believes in you, and that will and try to get to that second and third contract, and you have to produce. I mean, seriously, it's a bottom line business. And again, when you become 30, 31, 32, they start looking for a younger replacement, unless you're an elite player.
Football, you don't have many options. What you have, I guess, you don't make the NFL, you can go play for the Beavers, and you got the spring football. But I mean, you don't have many, at least in basketball, you can go to Europe. I saw where I think Tony Mitchell's playing like in the African League, the old crazy Tony from Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
hope he's on his medication.
Yeah, but I'm just saying you have some options in basketball. You may not like where you are, but you get paid. But you don't have many options in football. In baseball, I guess you got like South Korea and Japan. You got a few.
Yeah.
So.
Hi, Richard. Thanks for the phone call, bub. All right. That's hour 1 in the books. Hey, remember we told you the Big 12 did not do a poll. They did not do a media poll for their thing. On3 did ask all of the coaches. They did a poll conducted by On3 with all the Big 12 coaches, and the coaches voted for Kansas State and Iowa State were picked by the Big 12 coaches to represent the Big 12 in the Big 12 championship game. So Kansas State, Iowa State picked by the coaches, according to On3, to be in the Big 12 title game. Got to get a break in. When we come back, Talking Ball is going to roll on hour number 2. Rodney Orr coming up next.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Shane Van Gisbergen, the favorite to sweep the weekend on the road course in Sonoma, California, minus 150 to win the Xfinity Series race tomorrow, plus 155 to win the Cup race on Sunday. The Braves have dropped 11 of 14 after falling in 11, 5-4 at the A's yesterday. Granholm's on the mound for Game 1 of the weekend series of the Cardinals at Busch Stadium. Holmes 4-8, a 3.44 ERA, plus 101 of the money line. Matthew Liberatore for the Cardinals, 6-6, a 3.70 ERA. Cardinals a $1.23 favorite, 8.5 under the total in St. Louis. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
There you go. Hour 2 is upon us. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. Welcome back. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives. Helping us kick off hour number 2, 256-881-5151. If you want to experience the SportsMed difference, just give them a call. The official medical providers of the UAH Chargers and the Rocket City Trash Pandas. It's SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. We're holding court here inside Bill Penney Toyota's service department, where Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., they can service your vehicle. We talked about it at the top of the show briefly, but Alabama waiting on KJ Ford's announcement from Duncanville, Texas. The defensive end, the 6'4", 245-pound top 100 prospect nationally. His announcement, Drew, will come at 7:30 tonight, and many believe Alabama leading the way.
Yeah, no doubt. It's been quite an odyssey for this recruiting class at the University of Alabama, and to watch it be built. This information came out after our show yesterday, and certainly our next guest was on top of that. He's been on top of Alabama football and recruiting and Alabama athletics since 1996. He's basically the godfather of Alabama websites, and that is Rodney Orr, and he's been kind enough to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Rodney, I hope you had a great 4th of July. Good morning. How are you?
I did, Drew, Scott. I hope you guys are doing really well.
And talk about how quickly it shifts. I mean, we've talked about it on the show before. But, you know, Kevin Ford was a guy 2 months ago, a lot of conversation, a lot of thought of them leaning to Alabama. Then the board starts to evolve a little bit. You don't hear as much about him. Then it looks like he releases a final 3 of Ohio State, Texas A&M, Florida. It doesn't really look like Alabama's involved. Then things took a dramatic shift yesterday.
Yeah, you know, you could go back to our update, our post-visit update, when we covered the May 30th official visitors. That was that first big recruiting weekend, as you remember. It kicked off kind of those 4 weekends of big visits. And Kevin Ford came in that weekend. And, you know, we had a source there. We posted what we were told, that he had a great visit. I mean, it appeared that, you know, according to the people there, that it looked like he was ready to commit. And for whatever reason, it grew really quiet with him, as you mentioned, and it looked like maybe Florida or Ohio State, and I know Texas A&M's been in there very heavily as well. And then all of a sudden yesterday, it swings back to Alabama all of a sudden. So, but I would say this too, Drew and Scott, it's really not a surprise. People say, well, that's a surprise. It came out of nowhere. In some ways, okay, I get it, because his name hasn't been discussed in a few weeks. But it's not really a surprise when you consider who his former high school teammate is.
There you go. Yeah.
Keelan Russell, you knew that if Alabama put the pedal to the metal, that Keelan Russell could be a big factor here. I mean, they have a great relationship. Keelan was big in his visit when KJ came here on the visit. So you could kind of see that Alabama had a little bit of I don't know if it's advantage or leverage, but they certainly had, something working in their favor with Keelan Russell being here.
And obviously no shortage of talent is KJ Ford, and he would fit nicely in that backfield, that defensive backfield for Alabama.
He's going to be an edge rusher.
Or edge rusher, my bad, yes.
No doubt. I mean, that's something that Alabama did need in this class with KJ Ford or whoever. They needed an edge rusher, a guy that could play that edge. And, he certainly brings that. He's extremely quick, extremely fast, plays in a great high school program, received great coaching there. They have tremendous coaching there at Duncanville High School. It's one of the premier programs in the state of Texas. So, I was actually watching some of his highlights yesterday, and just his quickness and his speed jump out at you. And he's got a frame, guys, that I think, they list him at 6'3", 245. It's hard to tell on tape. He doesn't look 245 on tape, but I mean, it's just so difficult to tell. But if he is 245 right now, he has the frame. You can see he can get a lot bigger if they wanted him to. And then all of a sudden you're talking about, is he another defensive lineman? Is he a defensive end potentially? So that ability to get bigger, the frame that he has, is certainly something that would also make him an attractive prospect.
Yeah, and we were kind of talking about it at the start of the show, Rodney, that would give Alabama 20 commitments, and the spots are becoming precious. And now Alabama basically, I would think, and you follow it very, very closely, that the rest of the class would be filled out. Ideally, they would like to have it done even before fall camp, but it's going to be on a need situation. And I think that's how Courtney Morgan and Kalen DeBoer and those guys have attacked this. It's about their plan, and especially now with the transfer portal being a very important part of it. You're trying to fill your needs and fill them quickly before the season, so you can manage your commitments. And then, and then leave a little wiggle room for a prospect or two if they emerge. But it's mainly looking ahead now toward even January, to where maybe you fill some other needs with portal guys. But I think right now, would you agree that Alabama's trying to fill needs to finish out this cycle in 26?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously you got Tank Jones still out there, the 5-star from Mobile. At St. Paul's, and he's kind of very similar to Ford in size, kind of style. He could grow into a defensive end, or he could play that Wolf linebacker spot. And so he's, again, being as highly regarded as he is in state, he's certainly a priority. The question is, does Alabama take a second quarterback, which is what we've kind of come to expect that is going to happen. And Taden Kawa out of Orem, Utah, is a guy to keep an eye on. I think he's been kind of the focus. And you want to take the reason you want to take a second quarterback, I think, Drew and Scott, is you look at next year, and depth at the quarterback position could be an issue, because you can't, even though all three of the guys that are on the roster now will have eligibility left, it's not likely all three are staying. In fact, it would probably be surprising if you kept two of the three, because of these guys are ready. They want to play. That's the way it is with the quarterback position, especially. So quarterback, I think an offensive tackle, whether it's Wilson Zaire from Rabun Gap, Georgia, or Bear Fretwell from Booklet, Georgia. So those are really key positions. I think Elijah Golden, the defensive lineman, you never know what could happen, but I think he's probably going to end up at Notre Dame.
Wow.
No question. And so we'll see. But I would definitely think that's where the handful of prospects are going to come from for this Alabama recruiting class. And I think it's a very strong group on paper. Now you have to hold on to them, and you have to see how they develop. And a big topic of our conversation today, Rodney, to start the show, has been developing players and how you do them and how it's done today in this climate. But you and I talked about this a lot. As far as Nick Saban's the greatest to ever do it, but one of the things that people always used to wonder, though, down the stretch of his career at Alabama, especially, was, why didn't they play more guys, play more players, get more guys on the field? And that's one thing I was encouraged with in year one under Kalen DeBoer. I thought they played more guys and got them and got some guys experience, and I think that leads to the trust, and maybe one of the reasons that we didn't see anybody leave after spring practice in the transfer portal.
No, I agree 100%, Drew, in terms of, I was impressed with the way they didn't seem reluctant to put a young player out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think very early on, you saw them rotating players in the secondary, which, again, that was something that we never saw much of with Nick Saban. It was pretty much he played the starters to the last 5 minutes of the game or whatever it might have been, depending on the circumstances. But this staff, obviously, I think that's important. I mean, I think you want to be able to get guys on the field, feel like that they could be in the game in a meaningful position at any point in the game. So, I mean, you look at the secondary, I mean, it's loaded with players and a very talented secondary group, I think. And it's going to be interesting to see how do they get some of these guys on the field. I mean, you've got two safeties coming back, and Bray Hubbard and Keon Sabb. You've got both corners, Zabian Brown and Damani Jackson back. The only open spot is at the Husky position, and there's several guys that could potentially play there. And, how are you going to get DeJohn Lee and Chuck McDonald and Red Morgan and Drake Kirkpatrick Jr., Deshaun Jones? I mean, I'm Cam Calhoun. I'm just kind of Cam Howard. I'm kind of just going down the list, and there's a lot of guys that can play, but they seem really content because a lot of those guys could have left, as you know. But no, I think it's going to be really interesting. I think you look on the defensive line. I think as we kind of look forward, you talk about development. I think it's really key that some of these young players, Jeremiah Beeman, Edric Hill, I've been waiting for Jordan Renaud to kind of blossom. Keon Keeley. So those guys, how do they kind of develop over this early part of the season? I think that's going to be really important up front defensively because they're going to need some depth. They're going to need a rotation behind, Keenan and Overton and James Smith. So it's going to be really interesting, I think, to watch that. And then on the offensive line, I think PFF, Pro Football Focus, had them the number one offensive line in the country. How do you do that? I don't know how they rank that. But with that said, Drew and Scott, I would just say this. I think offensive tackle, they got to stay healthy.
Yes.
They're a little thin.
We talked about that yesterday, and we talked about the development of Caden Proctor. Can he play himself into a potential first-round draft pick by staying healthy this year?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Caden Proctor, I mean, it's just all up to him. The tools are there, the massive size, whether or not he's a future left tackle in the NFL or not, I don't know. He's a future offensive NFL lineman. There's no doubt about that. I just don't know whether he's going to be a left tackle in the NFL. Perhaps he will be, but I say all that to say this. I mean, it's really up to Caden Proctor. And I think, we've seen moments against Georgia, for example, in different games where, Caden Proctor he was everything he was cranked up to be. And then there's been some moments where, Caden maybe hasn't played quite to that level. So I think consistency, Saban used to say it all the time, consistency in performance, and I think that's really going to be key. But I will say this. I think the development up front on the offensive line, it's going to be interesting to watch this year because I think it's obviously going to be extremely important, but I think it's going to tell us a little bit about, how well they can develop players on the offensive line.
Yeah, and then there's one spot that should be a battle in camp that I don't think was decided in spring, and that's left guard, Rodney.
And that's going to be interesting, too, because I think Cam Dewberry has considerable experience from his days at Texas A&M. I would give him probably the odds-on favorite at left guard right now, although Geno Vandermark is shown some good things when he's had opportunities. The transfer from Michigan State, that really a versatile swing player. Play either guard spot, play center. You got to have guys like that. They can play multiple spots. And I think that's really important. So Geno Vandermark, I don't know if we will see anyone else seriously compete there other than those two. Maybe I'm missing someone off the top of my head. But those two are the ones that come to mind, quickly. They're at that spot.
Mm-hmm. I think the only other one, but I think they need him right now at tackle, because you just brought up the point of that's one of the spots. Olas Alinen and Michael Carroll. And so I think those two guys, I think, because offensive tackle is a very difficult spot because it's an elite position. And it's hard to keep depth because guys want to get on the field. So Michael Carroll and Olas may have to be swing guys that can play tackling guard.
I would probably agree with that one for sure. It's Michael Carroll was kind of projected as a guard. I think he came in. They ended up using him at right tackle quite a bit in the spring behind Wilkin Formby. It's going to be interesting to watch Wilkin. He's got a ton of potential. He's got great size, got a lot of determination, tremendous work ethic. This is going to be interesting to see how big of a step he takes this year, because I know that they really, they had to fend off some people came after him. LSU was really one of the more prominent suitors, if you will, coming after him in the off season. So it's going to be interesting.
No question. And but again, it looks like 7:30 Central Time tonight, Rodney, for this decision with Kevin Ford. And things can change. We know maybe the winds shift again, but it looks promising for Alabama tonight to add another piece.
Yeah, I think so. It sure sounds that way. I really believe that as of right now, I would be surprised if he didn't commit to Alabama. But like you said, this is a different day in recruiting. A lot of things change very, very quickly.
They really do. Well, Rodney, we appreciate it. We look forward to speaking with you, very soon again. And we got SEC Media Days coming up next week. And I know TiderInsider.com will be all over that. And fall camp's right around the corner. Let everybody know how to connect with you.
Right. I appreciate it, Drew. It's TiderInsider.com. It's only $48 a year, and you can get instant access with your credit card if you prefer. There is an address there to send a check. Gives you all our premium information, but also our All Sports Forum, which is our community there. It's really going to pick up, obviously. It's been a little slow because of, the time of the year, but, things are really on the verge of cranking up.
Yes, they are. All right, well, Rodney, have a great weekend, man.
Thanks, bud.
Okay, guys, take care.
Rodney Orr, kind enough to join us here on a Friday morning. Great stuff there. And a little insight to the recruiting and a little insight to what might happen this year on the field for Alabama. Some strengths and maybe some areas they may need to get a little better at.
Yeah, and again, I thought maybe in the spring portal they might bring in another offensive tackle, but they're hard to find.
Yeah,
especially because guys, especially if they've got experience, they're valuable. Even if they're coming from the FCS level or the group of five. So it's tough to find, especially, and when you bring them in, they want to play. They don't want to be backups, so to speak. And so finding a Geno Vandermark, a guy that was willing to leave Michigan State and come in and compete, but at the very least be able to play the center in both guard spots is big. And then Olas Alinen, who's been at Alabama a couple years, he spent a lot of time at left tackle, because don't forget, Caden Proctor didn't do anything in the spring because of that torn labrum. So it allowed Olas to get a lot of reps, and he does have good length. I do think he's a guard long-term, but being able to, in a pinch, play the left tackle spot if needed is big. And then, like we said, with Michael Carroll, a true freshman, another guy with good length, being able to play both guard and tackle and cross-train. So that's always huge. But Wilkin Formby and of course, Caden Proctor, they do need to stay healthy, and Parker Brailsford for that matter, because Brailsford may be the best center in the SEC.
All right, let's get a break in. 8:19 on a Friday morning. Talkin Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Hold your block until the whistle blows.
From SEC Media Days to the National Championship Game.
This was a great team win.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, 256-576-4977. That's how you can find us if you want to give us a call on the phone lines. Just got a message from our good friend Jimmy Lay.
Yep.
If you want to go to the Jalen, if you have kids and you're driving around town, you're trying to figure out what can I do with them this morning from 9 to 12, well, you can send them to the Jalen Milroe football camp. That's right. Still not too late for kids to show up to Westminster Christian Academy. From 9 to 12 this morning, Jalen Milroe hosting a football camp over at Westminster Christian Academy. Still room to sign up if you want to get out there and get a little activity in this morning.
Yeah, no doubt. And I believe he had one last year that was quite well attended. He's now going into his rookie season with the Seattle Seahawks after being drafted in the third round by that organization. And, of course, he'll be behind Sam Darnold, who signed a free agent contract with the Seahawks after having a breakout season with the Minnesota Vikings. It was funny. You get those Facebook memories, and it was from 11 years ago at the Elite 11. He's about the only quarterback that was worth a plug nickel in the NFL. After you look at the top 11, you're like, you know, it was almost like
Right.
I was almost like I was at watching the Big 12. Who? You know, where's he now? Where's he now? Not in the NFL.
Let's go out to the phone lines. Let's get Brandon in real fast. Good morning, Brandon.
Morning. Got
Morning.
a message from my girl. Got a message from my girl Amy at Twin Smokers, and she said, "Is your buddy coming to get one of the dinosaur ribs this week?" And I said, "Let me talk to Scott and find out." She said, "If they're coming Sunday, she said they may want to come a little earlier because she said it is lit right now with this All-Star game being in town." She said, "People everywhere."
Oh, is it?
Well, are they open on Sunday?
Sunday till 8 or they sell out.
Or until they sell out. I got you.
We'll have to see on that. I mean, we'll be over there Sunday.
That's
We
what I'm
will
saying.
be there Sunday.
Yeah, we will.
The question is, I don't know if we'll be able to be there that time. We got to set up in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Might have time to get over
Might
there.
have to swing out so Scott can eat a pterodactyl rib.
Bring it on, baby. Bring it on.
I don't know where he put it all over at B. Rich's, man. I was so full. I was in a coma for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I'm sitting there eating. I look up and you're like done. You're like slowing down.
I was struggling.
Can we do that again the Thursday before Labor Day weekend when football starts?
It is not up to us.
Yeah. I mean, B. Rich put a ton of time into that, brother.
B. Rich put a huge amount of time into that.
To him and his partner, Spencer Cox, who was assisting him. But, man, what a feast.
I think I'll come. If he does it again, I'll come and bring LSU lunch with me next time. We'll make it
it was
a wild event.
And, hey, by the way, once again, shout out to Steeler Mike, who just acquired a T. Higgins autographed Bengals helmet, which I guess it'll clash a little bit with all his Steelers gear, but he loves him some T. Higgins from his alma mater there over in Oak Ridge. But, I mean,
that's the thing,
he brought some outstanding cornbread himself.
Oh, my gosh, that jalapeno cornbread.
That's another thing that got me full. When you're eating biscuits and cornbread.
We had sausage and biscuits, and then we end up with
ribs.
The brats
ribs,
were the first.
Baby back ribs, brats.
The brats and the cornbread, and then all of a sudden we have ribs, and then pulled pork, and I mean it was.
Well, I was 2 later, and then when he didn't, I was like, well, kind of sad, but I guess he's keeping it safe today.
Yeah, no
question. I have a question about Notre Dame.
Yeah,
and I said this to Joe Hunk, and I haven't been able to find it. The revenue sharing model with them not being part of a conference.
Right.
Do they have a predetermined number that is based off the other conferences of what they are allowed to spend because they have their own TV deals? Or how does that play out for them because they're not playing by the same set of rules everybody else plays by?
I still think they have to follow the $20 million cap.
I would think they would have to follow it because technically they're not in the ACC, but they play an ACC schedule. I would think while they have a spot at the table in the playoff and yet they're not eligible to be a top 4 seed right now, I would think they would still have to, there'd be some sort of stipulation for them to be within that 20.5 million revenue share.
Yes.
But that's a great question. We need to, talk some ND, not as much as I hate it.
Well, we talked about it with them, and they've got 5 NFL players that their sons are all going there, and all 5 have reached the Super Bowl, and 4 of them have won them.
Mm-hmm.
Plaxico Burress, Jerome Bettis, I'm trying to remember who the other 3 were, but they've all done it. So Marcus Freeman's recruiting is
he's doing a great job. Yeah, he's recruiting in many ways better than Brian Kelly did now, and he did play for the national championship, so I had to sweat that out a little bit. But luckily, Ohio State came through for me. Now they just, I need 4 more years. So it's 40.
Yep.
Well, instead of it being Arby's, we may have to say B. Rich's Where's the Beef.
Well, Brandon, thanks for the phone call. And speaking of said B. Rich, and speaking of all that, he is now with us as well on the phone lines. Good morning, B. Rich.
Chef Rich, what's up?
Good morning, fellas. Hey, had to call in. I heard Brandon's request there. Listen, love Brandon to death. Love you guys to death. Listen, the weekend before football kicks off and fellas, I want to be able to enjoy the opening weekend of football. So
Yep.
I will not be able to swing
that kind of feast,
tailgate party or anything like that. But tell him for sure he has an open invite whenever we do Chester 2.0, whether y'all decide you want to do that before. Last year we did it before Christmas. Right there, your Moron of the Year award show and all that.
That's right.
But if y'all want to do it before Thanksgiving or Christmas, that invite stands. So
well, we could do it before Thanksgiving this year, because I believe Thanksgiving would be on the 27th, maybe, or the 20th. I need to look and see what day.
That far to see when the date is. But yeah, we would definitely look forward to having another turkey fry.
Well, it's on the 27th. Thanksgiving is on the 27th.
My dad's birthday this year. So
yeah. So, it's if we do a show on Wednesday, the 26th, I don't know if we will, but we could slide it in on the 26th, that Wednesday. We could fry up Chester on the 26th.
I'm down. And Brandon, that would be right before the Iron Bowl if I'm thinking dates and times correct and all that. So we could do an Iron Bowl / Thanksgiving turkey drop, and
there we go.
I'd be happy to cook it up again for y'all and all that kind of stuff. So that's a good time.
No doubt. And the only thing I would probably ask for is we didn't have any of them that day. We did the other day though, but we definitely want some more sausage biscuits, man.
You got raved about that. I'm just going to cook sausage biscuits for y'all and call it a day. Y'all were
big. I mean,
I thought all of it was good though.
It was great.
I loved it all.
I had enough food for 2 more days, and I waited
2 more days. I had enough for one.
Well, of course you did, but I mean, I've saved my biscuit he gave me to go 2 days later, and it was still just as good. Lord.
Well,
telling you what, brother.
I know y'all got a break coming up. Hey, y'all have a great time at SEC Media Days. Be safe, and I can't wait for all the coverage.
Thank you, Rich.
Thanks, B. Rich. Yeah.
B. Rich, Chef Rich.
So November 26th.
Barbecue, we're all.
So right now, it looks like November 26th is when we will fry Chester 2.0.
There you go. And you're already invited, Brandon. So
anybody's invited. Come on,
get you a fried turkey, dog.
All right, let's get a break in. Jason Caldwell's on the other side. We heard from Hugh Freeze to kick off the show. He kind of defended his golf, defended the recruiting, defended a lot of things. We'll hear Jason Caldwell next.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. Once again, we're going to continue to talk about scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some of those thunderstorms could be on the stronger end of the spectrum. A mostly to partly sunny sky on Saturday, mid and upper 80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast once again. Basically a rinse and repeat for Sunday.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The Braves roll into the 2025 season with a singular focus. Bring home the division title and remind the league what Atlanta is all about.
Swung on, driven to left center field and deep. That baby's out of here. Austin Riley. Trio to Olsen, and he powers one. Deep right center field to the wall. It's gonna fly. It's a home run. Back-to-back homers.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Best of all, now Thompson Tractor is making that investment even better with our Workhorse Special. Get 0% financing for 36 months on the purchase of a new Cat 255 compact track loader that comes with a 3-year warranty. You also get a 74-inch bucket and 1,000-hour filter kit. But hurry, this offer is only good through June 30th. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor. We're here for you.
The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. Weekday morning starting at 9 a.m. on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond, welcome back in here on a Friday morning, wrapping things up here from Bill Penney Toyota Service Department. It's been a fun 2 hours, hour and 36 minutes. We heard from Hugh Freeze, top of the hour. He was on the David Pollack podcast and had some things to say about people commenting on him playing too much golf and Auburn in the recruiting rankings and just a myriad of things.
Well, and again, I still say it comes down to winning for Hugh Freeze, and I think Auburn's recruiting will be just fine. It reminds me a lot of Florida and some of the heat Billy Napier was feeling. But I think if Auburn wins, Auburn's going to be fine, and that season opener is certainly key at Baylor. But we're going to talk about that more with our next guest. He's been a pillar of this show since I started, and we're working on getting him on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. But
one thing we're also keeping an eye on is the Major League Baseball draft. Because Auburn,
doubt.
Ike Irish should hear his name called
early,
and
he's got position flexibility because. A year ago, he spent most of his time at the majority at catcher. This year, the majority in right field. But he proved he could play both positions. And then the thing that he can do the most, though, is rake. He can absolutely rake. I still think he's one of on the Mount Rushmore of Auburn baseball guys. Certainly, they wanted to get to the World Series, but they ran into Coastal Carolina, who was a great ball club. But Ike Irish, from the moment he stepped on campus from the state of Michigan, was a great player for the Auburn Tigers. And we're going to talk about that and more with our next guest in his 25th year covering Auburn, and that is Jason Caldwell. Jason, you were Drew and Scott. Good morning.
Hey, guys. How are y'all?
We're doing good, and we were just talking about Ike Irish. George Nunley, give him a shout-out. You know him well. Jason, you did Auburn baseball, this year on the radio for the Auburn Tigers. Ike Irish, great player. We had the chance to sit down with him. Great kid, somebody that's going to hear his name called early this weekend in the MLB draft.
Yeah, I think so. I think, I actually spoke to him yesterday for a story for tomorrow, kind of previewing the draft. And I think he's a guy that's going to be top 15 probably. You look at him, his bat, but I think he showed the ability this year to kind of play multiple positions. And I think that's going to be a big deal for him because, he told me that some teams like me as a catcher, some teams say, hey, we like you as an outfielder, and he can also play first base. And so I think that's a big deal when you start talking about giving yourself some position versatility. Because if you only catch and you're not as good as the guy in front of you, then there's nowhere to go. And so I think that's going to be a big deal for him.
And catchers that can hit are very, very valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And that's his first thing. He said, it's my bat. That's what teams like about me first and foremost.
Well, obviously, the baseball draft will be something we keep an eye on. But, Jason, the Auburn recruiting, something a lot of people have been keeping an eye on, whether it be picking up a couple guys out of the portal or picking up a few guys or just where they're at in the rankings as a whole. There's been a lot to talk about with Auburn's recruiting.
Yeah, no question about it. It's one of the things you start to talk about, kind of, and it is. We're still ingrained to think about recruiting and numbers, and it's always going to be important. But this is a very different year because of the way the schedule fell, and because of the way the rules may or may not be working. We don't really know. But you look at it, and Auburn was like, okay, here's our goal is to re-sign our roster. It was always going to be a smaller class anyway because of having a smaller senior group on this team. So this is a very sophomore and freshman heavy roster, and so it's been the big debate for now the last month or so. Is Auburn making the right decision? Playing it safe, taking care of the roster, not giving out potential third party deals. And yesterday, just from the talk and the things we heard, it sure looks like Auburn is maybe more on the right track. Now we'll see if that holds up. Will that be the case the rest of the year? But if those deals don't happen, then there's going to be a lot of scrambling going on in the next few months. And if they reverse course and you're Auburn, then you say, all right, well, we got money we can throw out now. And so you just kind of have to try to catch up. So honestly, still don't know what the right or wrong answer is. And once again, that's where we find ourselves in the state of college athletics, where nobody knows what the other one's doing and nobody knows if they're right or wrong.
Well, and then I also think too, if Auburn wins football games, if they come out and win at Baylor, a place they've never gone, and they get off to a strong start, and say they win at Oklahoma, they're 4-0, because I think they're going to be big favorites in week 2, week 3. If they're off to a good start that first month, it's going to create a lot of momentum too. I've said it. It reminds me a little bit of Florida and Billy Napier. If you win, then things are going to turn quickly, because Florida's recruiting was much the same as where Auburn's is a year ago.
Yeah, but money was very different than it was a year ago too.
That's true.
The people who had money were spending money last year. Now everybody has money. Now not everybody has the same amount of money, but all of a sudden, last year you didn't have to worry about losing a guy to BYU. You didn't have to worry about losing a guy to Texas Tech. And now all of a sudden you look up and these are schools all over the country that have never been players in this arena before. Who are now not only players, but they're winning battles and recruits. And so it's a lot harder. Winning will help. There's no question about that. But if it's wide open and, hey, you got as much money as you can to spend, then it's going to come down to who has the most money to spend. And now Auburn will have something to spend if they have to change course. But, it's, again, there's so much unknown that's still out there because of, College Sports Commission, people threatening lawsuits, all these things that are going on. I hate it because I actually think we have a really fun football season ahead, but I don't know that many people are going to pay much attention to it because of all the stuff off the field.
Where does Auburn fall in line with the money? I mean, we've heard John Cohen talk a little bit about what Auburn wants to spend, the direction where they want to go. Where does Auburn fall into all this financially?
Yeah, they've got money to spend, but based on their interpretation of the new rules, that third-party deals over $600 have to be legitimate deals. And so that's where they've said is that, look, we can't promise you 3 years, $5.1 million for a high school offensive lineman. Can't do that because we don't believe that's going to be legal under these new contracts. And like I said, based on yesterday, it doesn't look like it's going to be. And so can you write a contract like that? Because if you do, and you write a contract like that on August 1st that says, yep, we're going to guarantee you this money, then all $5.1 million of that goes out of your salary cap. And then you can start knocking off money if you get legitimate NIL deals to do that. And so you start going, look, you have a budget that you have to spend on a football roster. And Auburn has said, look, here's how we're playing this. We're going to use our budget to take care of our guys that we know we're going to be back in 2026 to make sure that you keep Cam Coleman and Malcolm Simmons and those kind of guys. And that's what they've done. Now, like I said, if it's proven that, hey, anything's going to be allowed and you can just hand out money and don't have to worry about anything, then if you're Auburn, you'll change course. But right now they're saying, look, this is how we believe this thing is structured to work, and they'll either be proven wrong or right.
Well, and again, like you said, they have a very young roster as well. And Hugh brought that up, especially at the receiver spot. People have talked about him with receivers, but he's also attacked the portal very well. Keandre Lambert-Smith was a great player last year. A lot of people, and you made a great point about him just focusing on the off the field stuff, but not enough has been being talked about with Eric Singleton. I think he has a chance to be a special player. Certainly, I think he could end up being wide receiver one, even though I think Cam Coleman has a lot of ability. I do like Malcolm Simmons. I loved watching him last year. But that's a group at Auburn that's got a chance to be really good. But I wanted to ask you, because one of the things you do is you do a lot of legwork. You get to know recruits and their families, get a lot of FaceTime with them. We had an unfortunate situation with DJ Barber, who I know you were very high on. He was on a great football team at Clay Chalkville that won a state championship his senior year. He had redshirted Auburn. With his situation off the field, how does that affect Auburn defensively when you have to take him out of the equation?
Yeah, he's a guy that they were hoping that, you get something out of as a redshirt freshman. But other than depth, it probably doesn't impact him, because I don't think he was probably going to be in the top 2 or 3 teams for this team, at least going into the season. True middle linebacker, a guy that has some pop, and like on the field reminded me a lot of like a guy like KJ Britt. But obviously, you have to take care of things off the field to be able to get on the field, and he didn't do that. And so you look at this linebacker group and DeMarcus Riddick, and you got some guys back. Robert Woodyard added Wheatland from Maryland, who I think is going to have an impact for this team as a transfer linebacker, and then really talented group of freshmen coming in that I think will all have a chance to come in and make an impact. So there's some depth there. Just not a ton of proven experience, and that's going to be the thing that we'll see how it works for this team.
And then talk about the representatives Auburn's bringing. They are going to bring Jackson Arnold, who is such a key for this season coming up, and the way he fits in Hugh Freeze's system. Keldrick Falk, who I think is going to be one of the best players in the SEC. And then Connor Liu, a guy that quietly, he's already a junior, but I know Auburn believes strongly he's going to be one of the best centers in the league.
Yeah, no, I think you look at, he's a guy that you start talking about building blocks of an offensive line, and that's where you want to start at the center position. And Connor Liu's a guy that they have complete trust in. And so I think obviously a guy right there that, you want to give some credit to for what he's done for the last 2 years and what you think he's going to do this year. Keldrick Falk, it's a no-brainer to bring him again, and a guy that really took a step forward last year. And I think when people see him now, they're really going to be taken aback a little bit at the things he's done with his body. He looks thinner, but he's almost 290 pounds now. And so he's gotten bigger and stronger. And that was always kind of the key for him is, coming out of small school, once you come here to change your body a little bit. And, he wasn't in the 7A strength and conditioning programs. He played basketball. He played other sports. So I think it's taken him a couple of years to kind of get to that level. And then, Jackson Arnold, I think it probably shows you more than anything the work he's done between spring practice and now. The voluntary stuff, all those things. I would guess that his teammates and coaches have said, hey, that guy's taking on a leadership role. And I think that's probably why you earned this opportunity.
And the biggest key, what offensively, last year, one of the keys and one of the reasons Auburn struggled is I felt like Percy Lewis wasn't what they thought he was going to be at left tackle. They invested, speaking of the money out of the portal, at right and left tackle? Are they much more confident going into this season with those two positions?
No, I think they feel really good about the tackle spots now with Xavier Chaplin coming in. You know, they brought in Mason Murphy from USC, but you have, Too Tall Miller coming back for a third year to give you some depth there. You have Tyler Johnson at tackle. So I think they feel pretty good about this offensive line group. Because Mason Murphy's a guy that if Too Tall is good at tackle, Mason Murphy's a guy that could easily slide inside and give you more size on the offensive line too. So that you got Jeremiah Wright back, you got Dylan Lade. This is probably as set up as an Auburn offensive line has been since 2017, with some depth and experience. Just kind of get them together and working together when you get into camp. But there's no doubt in my mind that this has potential to be the best Auburn offensive line we've seen in a while.
Wow, that would be huge because that 2017 team was very, very nearly an SEC champion and playoff, participant in the old 4-team format, no question about it. And then final question: how big is this Baylor game though? Because Dave Aranda, he's definitely on the hot seat, so to speak. Even though they were better last year, but they still need to continue to improve under his stewardship. A couple years ago, they weren't very good, but this to me is a big opener for Auburn.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's an opportunity game for both teams. It's not a disaster game if you lose it, but when you start looking at Auburn's schedule and you got Oklahoma and Texas A&M on the road in the first 5 weeks as well, you know that you're gonna have to win a couple of those road games. The good thing about this for now, and some people think it's a bad thing. I think it's probably a good thing. You don't have to go 12-0 to feel like your season's over with if you lose the game. And so I think that's the positive about it is, it's tough in this league. And so can you go and win a couple of those games and give yourself a chance to maybe be 4-1 when Georgia comes to town? And so that could be a big deal. But, yeah, I think, how you play, if you go win it, I think it's a big deal then because then you have a couple of weeks to kind of fine-tune things before you go back on the road.
Mm-hmm. Well, it should be a fun time in Atlanta. No doubt about that.
Yep. And, Jason, I hope we get a chance to see you down there. I know Inside the Auburn Tigers and, of course, Auburn Undercover. You're with Auburn Undercover, part of 24/7 Sports. I know you guys will have blowout coverage. Hugh Freeze will be there Tuesday along with Keldrick Falk, Jackson Arnold, and Connor Liu. But let everybody know how to follow you and you guys work.
You can check us out at auburnundercover.com, part of 24/7 Network, and can find me on Twitter at ITATJ.
We always appreciate
Thanks,
it, brother.
Jason.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Let's get that final break in of the week. Tomorrow's headlines wraps us up next.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a bag compressor or leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penney Toyota.
They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penney perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penney Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penney Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPenneyToyota.com. Bill Penney's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Sure, Valley Equipment Rental takes care of the homeowner and his needs, but how about the pros out there? Well, Valley Equipment has the big stuff as well. The equipment you need to get any job done. I'm talking about the big track hoe excavators, from the 30,000-pound mid-size one to the big boy 50,000-pound units. Need a dozer on the job? Well, they've got them up to 105 horsepower, and that's a good-sized machine. Plus, Valley Equipment has more lifts than anyone around. Up to 80-foot booms that reach 56 feet with a 10,000-pound capacity. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Check them out today.
It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Time does keep slipping on into the future. The next time you hear us, we will be live from Atlanta, kicking off SEC Media Days. Make sure you join 97.7 ESPN The Zone all week long next week from Atlanta. Coverage will start at 7 o'clock in the morning, and it'll go all the way through 7 o'clock in the evening, because the local shows, Paul Feinbaum, everything in between, we've got it all. Make sure you stay with us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all week long from Atlanta, as we will have you covered from every angle. So.
And my partner, Michael Seal, who did Huntsville High football with me last year with the Huntsville Blast, he let us know in the Futures game that's coming up too. Rocket City Trash Pandas represented George Klassen, a right-handed pitcher. He's going to be in the Futures game, as he's the number 3 prospect in their system.
They could use him, couldn't they?
A little.
All right. We'll see you guys in Atlanta. Talkin Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford.